Talking about depression with family members is, for many people, one of the hardest conversations they will ever have. Not because there is a lack of love, but because there is an excess of fear. Fear of not being understood, of being judged, of hearing words that hurt even more when the pain already feels unbearable. If you have ever felt a tight knot in your chest just imagining this conversation, this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about how to have conversations about depression with your family in a safer, more emotionally secure, and more human way, using tools that reduce conflict and increase the chances of genuine understanding. Before we continue, if this type of content resonates with you, consider leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and turning on notifications. This helps WellState continue sharing reliable, thoughtful content about mental health, well-being, and quality of life with more people. The first thing we need to understand is that depression is not just sadness, weakness, or a lack of motivation. Even so, many families still view it through these distorted lenses. That is why, before starting this conversation, it is important to adjust your expectations. Your family may not understand everything right away, and that does not mean you are wrong or that your pain is not real. It simply means that each person carries their own emotional, cultural, and generational limitations. One essential tool before starting this conversation is choosing the right moment. Talking about depression in the middle of an argument, during a stressful situation, or when emotions are already running high usually increases defensiveness instead of connection. Whenever possible, choose a calm moment with privacy and enough time for listening. This does not guarantee immediate understanding, but it creates a safer emotional space for dialogue. Another powerful tool is speaking from your own experience rather than from a place of accusation. Instead of saying, "You never understand me," or "No one cares," try saying something like, "I have been feeling emotionally overwhelmed," or "I'm going through something that has been hard to deal with on my own." This small shift reduces the chances that the other person will feel attacked and increases the possibility of empathy. It is also important to remember that you don't need to explain everything at once. Many people feel like they have to justify every symptom, every difficult day, every moment of silence. But talking about depression doesn't have to be a lecture. It can be a first step. Sometimes saying, "I'm not okay and I need support," is already enough to begin a process of mutual understanding. One of the biggest traps in this conversation is trying to convince your family that depression is real. When we step into a place of needing to prove our pain, we put ourselves in constant defense mode. Whenever possible, focus less on convincing and more on sharing. Your experience does not need scientific validation to exist. It is valid simply because it's yours. It is also common for family members to respond with phrases that, although often well-intentioned, can be deeply hurtful. Comments like, "This is just a phase," "Everyone feels like this sometimes," or "You just need to push through," usually come from fear and helplessness, not from cruelty. Understanding this does not erase the pain of hearing those words, but it can help you avoid internalizing them as a personal attack. An important tool for emotional safety is setting clear boundaries. If the conversation starts to feel dismissive, invasive, or aggressive, you have the right to pause or stop it. Saying something like, "This is a sensitive topic for me, and I need more care when talking about it," is not disrespectful, it's self-protection. Talking about depression does not mean exposing yourself to even more pain. Another helpful strategy is sharing information in a light, accessible way. Sometimes sending a short article, a video, or even suggesting watching something together can open doors that direct conversation cannot. This reduces the emotional pressure and helps create a shared language around mental health. It is also important to acknowledge that not every family will be able to offer the support you need, and accepting that can be painful. But support doesn't come only from family. Friends, mental health professionals, and safe communities are also part of a healthy support network. Talking to your family matters, but it should not be your only source of care. Throughout this process, be gentle with yourself. Talking about depression takes courage, it requires vulnerability, and it demands emotional energy, something that is often already limited. Every small step matters. Every imperfect attempt is still progress toward more care and less silence. After starting this conversation with your family, many people realize that the challenge doesn't end there. Sometimes the reaction is not supportive. There might be silence, denial, attempts to control, or even criticism disguised as concern. That is why one of the most important tools is learning to handle other people's reactions without losing sight of your own emotional health. When family members respond poorly, it's common to feel guilty, as if opening up was a mistake. But it's essential to remember this: the way someone reacts says much more about their emotional limits than about the value of your pain. You are not responsible for another person's inability to handle difficult conversations. One important strategy after these conversations is checking in with yourself. Talking about depression can bring relief, but it can also leave you emotionally drained. Give yourself time to process what was said. Don't pressure yourself to fix everything right away. Self-care in this moment might mean resting, being quiet, or reaching out to someone who can listen with more empathy. If your family minimizes what you're feeling, it can be helpful to calmly restate your boundaries, saying something like, "I understand that you see this differently, but this is serious for me," helps you honor your truth without escalating into conflict. Not every disagreement needs to turn into an argument. Sometimes preserving the relationship means accepting that full understanding may not be possible. It is also important not to turn your family into your therapist. Sharing your feelings is healthy, but expecting them to know how to handle depression can create frustration on both sides. Whenever possible, be clear that professional mental health support is part of your care. This also relieves pressure from family relationships. It is very common after these conversations to feel like you are being a burden or asking for too much. This thought often comes from depression itself, which can distort self-worth and perception. Remember this: asking for support is not weakness. It's an acknowledgement of human limits, and recognizing limits is a sign of emotional maturity. If your family insists on offering simple solutions like "just think positive" or "stay busy," try to see this as an attempt to help, even if it misses the mark. You can acknowledge their intention while gently explaining that what you most need right now is listening, not advice. This helps build emotional awareness without invalidating them. It is also important to understand that not every family needs time. What feels uncomfortable or confusing today might slowly turn into greater understanding later. Shifts in mindset rarely happen in a single conversation. What matters is that you opened a door where silence once existed. If, despite your efforts, the family environment continues to be emotionally triggering, protecting yourself becomes a priority. Limiting exposure, choosing carefully who you talk to about your mental health, and seeking spaces where you feel respected and safe are valid and necessary choices. Caring for your mental health sometimes requires difficult decisions. Talking about depression with your family is not a sign of weakness. It's a request for connection. That connection may not always come in the way you hope, but the act of speaking up is already a powerful step towards self-care. If this content helped you in any way, leave a like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to the Well State channel for more content about mental health, well-being, and quality of life. Thank you for being here, for listening until the end, and most importantly, for allowing yourself to care. You are not alone.